Mining is staging a landmark auction of Zambian emeralds in Lusaka this week. That's since operation of the company was taken over by Gemfields in 2008. And this follows government's recent decision to amend the Bank of Zambia Act and ban the auctioning of emeralds outside the country. For more on this, we're joined by Ian Hairbottle, CEO of Gemfields and Kagem Mining. Thanks so much for joining us today, Ian. So you're calling it a watershed auction, and I suppose this has been a bit of a blow, some might say, to Kagem, because you're having to bring auctions into Zambia as opposed to the traditional way of where you're auctioning them abroad. But talk to us about the kind of investor appetite right now in the local Zambian community. What's your assessment as to how this auction is going to pan out?
Questions and for having us on board today. Just up front, a little bit of clarity. I'm sure you may have seen various bits of media where Gemfields itself has said we're a bit concerned about the lack of clarity. And I think the main issue was not so much having an auction in Zambia or not, but a clear understanding of direction. Certainly last week a number of statements were made and put to the press where it was clearly said that there is the intention to ban the auction of emeralds outside of the country. And a lot of it was put on the president. Indications were that the president had given a directive. We have had a lot of discussions. I'm very pleased to say that just yesterday we were talking with the Deputy Minister and the Minister of Mines, and they clearly told us that there's no such a directive from the President. There's no directive to ban the auctioning of emeralds outside of the country. The President's directive, and from what we've heard now coming from the Ministry as well, is to include Zambia onto the cycle. So to make sure that Zambia becomes one of the destinations. Now, this is very important for Gemfields as foreign investors, because it's not so much where or what or how, it's that we have clear understanding, everything is clear and transparent and consistent. When there's a lack of transparency or consistency, that makes it very difficult to manage the process. But having received that indication that it's clearly, that it's part of the process, we're very happy. In terms of Gemfields, as you rightly said earlier, the Kagem mine is a mine that has been parastatal, run by the government and others for over 30 years now. It is a mine that spent 30 odd years of its life bankrupt, never made a profit. Gemfields acquired its 75% stake in the Kagem mine at the end of 2008. The other 25% is owned by the people of Zambia via the Ministry of Mines, Ministry of Finance. And we're very pleased to say that within that period of time, we have turned Kagem into a profitable, successful, growing business. We've paid back all the inherited losses, all the inherited debts, and we are now tax-paying and royalty paying, and one of the most significant contributors to the local revenues from our auction.
Yeah.
So we're very pleased with that, and that puts us in a powerful position to continue for growth.
And of course, up on the screen, we saw you assessing some of the gems that are going to be on auction this week. But essentially what you're saying is Zambian authorities are wanting to put Zambia on the map when it comes to emerald auctions globally. You've got Jaipur in India, you've got Singapore, which are really traditionally the key trading houses. Can Zambia essentially, or Lusaka, compete with those cities?
Yeah, if you think the main emerald producing countries of the world, emeralds are 30% is produced in Colombia, 30% in Brazil, and 30% in Zambia, with Zambia being the youngest of the producers and Colombia being the oldest. So very often when you go around the world and you speak to people and say, which are the finest emeralds, they will say Colombian. And that is purely because they had a historic tradition and legacy and a marketing appeal, etc. And with Zambia being the youngest, for a very long period of time, Zambia was seen as a distant third child in the family. When Gemfields came in, we said that's not right. There's nothing wrong with Colombian, they're beautiful emeralds, nothing wrong with Brazilian, etc. But we wanted to make sure that Zambia stood proudly next to the other emerald producers. So what our initial focus was on taking, how do you do that? If you've got customers around the world that are buying emeralds close to their operations in a very convenient way, you want to do the same thing. You want to match service for service, or do more or go better. And that's why Kagem, in partnership with the government and Gemfields, has been taking our emeralds to the customer base to make it convenient. We're very pleased to say it's been very successful. And at this auction, most of our customers who had been coming to our other auctions in Jaipur, in Singapore, we even had 2 in Johannesburg in the past as well. Most of those customers have come and attended this auction. Plus, we've had applications from a number of locals as well. So it's largely the same customer base. And as soon as the customers know and have received the fact that there's clarity, they know how it's going to be, I have to say, I'm very pleased to say the response is looking good. We're hoping for it to be the best of our low quality auctions. We have different auctions. We have a couple of auctions per year where we sell our high quality goods and some where we sell our lower quality. But as far, and this is what this is, but we're expecting a very positive response.